Hey guys, I'm Hansi and we're Natural Nerd. Today we'll be making this overhead camera rig. What's great about this rig is that it's very cheap to make. It's compatible with both my GoPro and my DSLR camera. It has overhead lighting and lets you view what you're filming with a computer screen that connects to the camera. Now let's take a look at how I made it. I used quite a few materials for this build. I got some padded hose clamps for $2.50 and the LED strip for $5. In addition to these materials, I picked up an old computer screen for free. The rig has to fit on top of my workbench, so I took its measurements before I started cutting any of the wood. I started by cutting 4 lengths for the depth of the rig. Next thing, I cut out yet another 4 pieces for the height. By using 2 lengths from the depth and 2 from the height and screwing them together, I assembled a rectangular frame which will act as the side of the rig. I did this 2 times to get both of the sides. I needed 3 more lengths of wood to connect the frames into a cubic shape. I am only using 3 because I don't want any wood to block where I'll be sitting. I screwed the frames together and then reinforced all the corners with angle brackets. Okay, so now we have a base construction, but as you can see, it's still a bit wobbly and unsturdy. As this is going to be used for filming, I really don't want it to look like an earthquake every time I get a little rough with the workbench. So I cut some support beams at a 45-degree angle to make it sit flush against the rig. I put them at almost every corner to make sure it would get as sturdy as possible. There we have it. It looks a bit stronger now. The camera is going to be attached to a makeshift copper stand, which will be held in place by 2 lengths of wood with holes in them. I attached them to the left and the right side of the rig. The copper pipe I wanted to use was way too long, so I cut it with a hacksaw. As the pipe is going to hold the camera, it's important that it doesn't move. I thought it would be a good idea to use a hand screw to lock it in place. So I drilled a hole for it and screwed it in as tight as I could. This had to be done on both sides. I put the hose clamps on the pipe so I could insert a vertical pipe which the camera will be attached to. I was lucky to get this screen from a company who renovated their offices and were gonna throw the old screens away. I measured out the distance between the holes on the back and cut out a piece of chipboard to fit inside the socket before I screwed in the screws to fasten it. With another 2 lengths of wood at the back of the rig, I drilled through it and secured the screen nicely. As you can see, I also needed to add support beams for the screen at the back. So far, so good. Next thing, we painted the whole structure white for the aesthetics. I regret not sanding it down first, it would have looked a lot smoother, but I just didn't have the time. Since I'm going to add LED lights, I want some lighting from above. To have some place to put the strips, I screwed in 2 additional beams at the top. For easier access to the top of the rig, we flipped the entire construction. Using the adhesive that comes on the back of the strips and some hot glue where it didn't stick well enough, we applied the LED strips to the top and some at the front and the back. We fastened all the cables using hot glue and soldered all the strips together. To reduce disturbances in video footage even further, I stuck on some double-sided tape underneath the rig and then added some foam on top of it. This will really help absorbing any small vibrations. To mount the cameras to the copper pipe, I used a standard DSLR ball mount, which I fastened with a screw through the pipe. The GoPro is fastened using a normal GoPro rod mount. This is a test of how the footage looks, and I really like that it's easy to show detailed work without having a camera tripod in the way. Now let's take a look at the finished result. This build has made our lives so much simpler, and it's much easier to record things on our workbench now. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be answering them as well as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.